This is When We're on Romcom, the podcast where we break down what makes a date movie a great movie. We're currently working our way through Vanity Fair's list of the 42 best romantic comedies of all time to see if they had us at hello or were a big mistake. Huge. I'm Jack. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Nora. And we are joined by our special guest this week, Joshua Martin Williams. Come on down.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the pod. Thank you for having me.
So Joshua is an actor, a writer, and a producer based in LA. Joshua has a short film called First Impressions that has recently finished post-production and will be releasing soon. When you say releasing, Joshua, where is it releasing?
It will be going into film festivals. We have been sharing it around secretly, like you have both seen it, I believe.
Yes, I may or may not have received a sneaky little Vimeo link.
So it's being silently distributed while we wait for the right festival to premiere it, basically.
That's exciting. So Joshua is actually a reformed musical theatre person.
Reformed being the operative word.
And you've moved on into the world of film and television.
I have, yes. Because that's how I get my visa living in the US, is by playing evil redcoats in period dramas.
I love that for you.
I do want to say on First Impressions, my first impressions was it was great. I really liked it. I thought it was so nicely written and so well performed. It's one that keeps you guessing.
You wrote the music for?
I did, yes. Not to brag, but with the exception of one of the saxophone lines, because I don't play tenor sax. I played all the instruments as well.
Oh.
How many instruments?
It was only like a basic band, so drums, guitar, bass, piano, and then I did a saxophone line as well.
That is 5. That is 5 more instruments than I play.
I wasn't a popular kid. I spent it in the school bands.
Neither was I. Amazing. Would you characterize First Impressions as a rom-com?
Yes. And I appreciate that in talking about First Impressions, you've not given it away.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to.
There is a thing that happens, and that is all I can really say. And also First Impressions is a proof of concept for a series that is pretty much planned. The pilot has been written. It is something masquerading as a rom-com is the best way I can describe it.
Can you give us a little plot blurb?
What's your IMDb synopsis?
It's simply that it's a film that follows a couple as they get ready to meet her parents for the first time. So it is sort of a rom-com in that sense. It doesn't have the meet cute and things.
Mm-hmm.
That's saved for the series, but it's masquerading as a rom-com.
Oh, so mysterious.
Nora, would you describe the film as something you unironically loved? Because that's how you described my short film.
Oh my God, that sounds so bad out of context. You need to see the film he's referring to understand why that is a compliment.
I've seen the film. I don't entirely understand.
It's called Penguin, and it features Arthur
It's a
Darvill.
rom-com.
It is a rom-com. It features Arthur Darvill, who... Are you a Doctor Who person at all?
I also just know who Arthur Darvill is.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. You're a Brit. He's a Brit. He's great.
He was in Sexy Oklahoma.
Oh God, yes, he was.
Fucklahoma, we call it.
Oklahoma that fucks. Oh God, he was good in that.
He was also in DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Nice.
And Penguin.
Yes, and Penguin.
Not that you'd know from his Oklahoma bio.
That's rude if you left it out.
Even though this is his primary credit.
Yeah, his magnum opus.
So you put a specific section for your short films, and this one you're like, you know what, we'll leave that off.
So he does the voiceover for a puppet penguin who is having trouble dating because he is a penguin trying to date humans.
I relate.
And
So
I
do I.
unironically loved it.
Nice.
Speaking of rom-coms, what is your relationship to rom-coms, Joshua?
I feel like I sort of grew up with them because we weren't a cinephile family. I wasn't raised in that sort of world, but every other week maybe we'd go to the local Blockbuster and my dad would rent a sloppy thriller and my mum would rent an equally sloppy rom-com and I would maybe be allowed to watch. That's why I've seen Lethal Weapons all the way through to I think there's 4 or 5 of them.
There's 4 Lethal Weapons. And a TV series.
There you go.
What part of England are you from?
I am from Shropshire. I think in folklore, Shropshire is considered a witcher county because it's landlocked and doesn't have any big bodies of water. So that's where the witches would go.
Are you a witch?
I don't know. I float.
I like that you don't know. Maybe. Remains to be seen.
Well, like, Sabrina didn't know she was a witch till she was 16.
Joshua is older than
I
16.
am very 16. If I was a witch or I had any supernatural powers, I wouldn't know because I'm too cynical. Like, I'd describe to my friends that I am cynically witchy. Like, I know my birth chart, but I don't know what any of it means. I have crystals, but they're just in case.
Crystals for a rainy day.
I will do the thing on the first of the month where you blow cinnamon through your front door, which is meant to bring you abundance. I don't think it ever will.
I would argue that cinnamon is working for you.
I'll take it.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Your history with romcoms is not too dissimilar from mine, though. My family was sort of half a cinephile family, but they didn't enforce it on me. I just sort of seemed to come to it by myself. We would go to the local Blockbuster and rent the hot new thing of the week, or I would rent the DuckTales movie again.
Do you have favorite rom-coms?
I really enjoy Crazy Stupid Love. I think that's just a farcical, ridiculous film. And I think that's probably one of my favorite rom-coms. It's almost Shakespearean in its multiple plot lines that seem disconnected and then all come together at the end in a mess.
I wish I could watch it for the first time again.
Shall we talk about the film that we're talking about?
Yeah, we missed a brilliant segue too, which is that we mentioned Sabrina. Kiernan Shipka, who plays Sabrina.
Sorry, Melissa Joan Hart is Sabrina and always will be.
Well, I agree. We are 90s children, of course.
Sabrina the Rebooted Witch.
Yes. So this movie.
We're
trying to talk about
does not feature Melissa Joan Hart.
Do you want to give us the...
Yeah, so I'll give you the stats. So this film is directed by Jordan Weiss. Does anybody know about Jordan Weiss?
It's her directorial debut.
It is her directorial debut, and she has a big movie coming out this summer, Freakier Friday.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Which I'm really excited for. Off this film, I have even higher hopes for it. Film stars the aforementioned Kiernan Shipka, Nico Hiraga, Caleb Heron, Ava DeMary, Charlie Hall, Tramell Tillman, and Joel Kim Booster. It was released on the 28th of November 2024, direct to, at the time, Max, and currently HBO Max. We'll see what it is when this episode releases. Because of that, there is no reported box office, and I could not find a budget for this one. But it does have a Rotten Tomatoes score of 64%. And IMDb describes it as two college freshmen pull a turkey dump and break up with their high school sweethearts over Drunksgiving, the one chaotic night before Thanksgiving in their hometown that puts their codependent friendship to the test. Whilst Chris Murphy from Vanity Fair writes, "Sometimes the greatest love of all is actually your best friend." In Sweethearts, a Max romantic comedy from Jordan Weiss, college BFFs Ben, Nico Hiraga, and Jamie, Kiernan Shipka, make a pact to break up with their respective partners while they're both home for Thanksgiving break. Of course, that's easier said than done. Sweethearts is a sweet look at love and friendship and the many ways they intertwine. It also boasts a standout performance from comedian and podcaster Caleb Heron, who steals scenes as Palmer, Ben and Jamie's gay best friend.
So none of us had seen this film until we watched it in preparation for this episode. Is that true?
That's
had not.
true.
I wasn't even aware of its existence.
Same.
I knew it as a poster on a streaming service, and that was sort of it. It's also the only one that neither of us had seen and didn't watch together. So I actually know nothing about your feelings on this film. And I know nothing about Joshua's feelings on this film.
Yeah, I only know Joshua's feelings on the trailer.
I don't remember my feelings on the trailer.
You just texted me drama at the petite soirée.
Which is
amazing.
Yeah,
Then I completely forgot about that line because while watching the movie, I made a note of the line drama at the petite soirée.
I also made that exact same
Me
note.
too.
And I know I remembered it from the trailer, but it's beautifully delivered. Yeah, this one, I think it's the only one on the list I really knew nothing about. It does not help that it is released by a streaming service that doesn't exist in the UK.
Back in the Game of Thrones days, which was the only reason why you would try and access HBO Max, as far as I was concerned, I got it through like Now TV.
Right. Yeah, it's Now/Sky Cinema, which I knew because of True Blood, which is the only reason to access HBO Max.
There you go.
And I knew because I work in television.
All right.
All right. I was in musical theatre back then.
It is very easy to get lost in the streaming service world.
Mm-hmm.
So many of these films come out unheralded,
Yeah.
unadvertised. Before I watched this yesterday, I sat down and watched the incredibly over-advertised Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. There is this sort of weird thing of what gets the push from these streaming service and what doesn't.
I think it's to do with what can bring subscribers in. And Happy
Completely.
Gilmore 2 is a great example of like, this will make people sign up for $7.99 a month, which is a shame because I do think Sweethearts is quite good.
As do I.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to be the first one to give an opinion. I think this movie is really good.
I think depending on what we're discussing, and if we're discussing spoilers, pre-spoiler talk, I think it's quite good.
We'll get into spoilers. Yeah, I also think it's quite good. I just quickly want to say, if people are interested on my opinions on the world of Adam Sandler films, you can check out my podcast, Truly Happily Madison, in which I covered every film that Adam Sandler produced. And people have been asking, will I do an episode on Happy Gilmore 2? Maybe. I say people. One person asked me.
I was going to say, who asked?
Just a friend who listened to the show.
Much like your film First Impressions, we cannot discuss Sweethearts without giving spoilers.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
The difference between First Impressions and Sweethearts, and this is the only difference, is that Sweethearts has been released. But yeah, let's get into it. So none of us knew anything about it. It immediately took me for a loop when I started it off because it opened with the New Line Cinema logo, and the New Line Cinema logo didn't turn into the Warner Brothers logo, which I checked this out. That's not happened in, oh my God, I looked up when this last one was. Basically, it's not happened for years, and that really freaked me out.
The significance of that is completely lost on me.
Nora's looking at me like, this is lost on both of us, right?
I mean, I didn't expect this to be a hard-hitting view, but I care a lot about fanfare in my films.
It's all right. There will be a moment where we all really care about one specific thing, and I know when my moment's coming. I made notes and everything.
Yeah, well, this is the hill I'm going to die on. Thrown for a loop in the opening 5 seconds of the movie.
I still don't understand. What's the significance?
It's just that logo hasn't been, standalone for a long time. And I like that logo.
So this is a good thing?
Yeah, but I was just surprised.
Okay, so it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it's like seeing an old friend.
Okay, that's lovely.
And you weren't expecting it.
Speaking of old friends, the premise of this film is that we've got two best friends, Jamie and Ben, and they are in their first semester of college, and they are both still dating their high school sweethearts.
Already a bad move.
Yeah. Did any of you do that?
I would have had to have a high school sweetheart.
I would have had to have a high school sweetheart.
I would have had to have a high school sweetheart.
And that's why we podcast about romcoms.
I am happy to share the photo of what I look like at my secondary school graduation, and then you would have known that that was a dumb question to ask.
Can we put it in the show notes?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So Jamie's boyfriend, Simon, I thought early on in the film, when he's first introduced, that he was a bit stereotypically, he was a bit too dumb.
He's at Harvard, right?
But they specify that he's got the lowest GPA to have ever been accepted into Harvard, and he's there playing football.
Yes. Yeah.
I really liked him. He seemed really sweet. I could understand why she doesn't want to break up with him, whereas Claire seemed truly, truly awful, and I do not get why they were ever together.
One of my notes is that Jamie and Ben do seem Jack and Nora coded.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There were times where I was just I can see me and Nora having these conversations.
Yeah, actually.
And I can completely see me dating a girl like Claire.
Really?
And you getting so annoyed about it.
I would be furious. She was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Joshua, you made a face. What did you think of Claire?
We haven't discussed the main event, the Volta, the turning point. So up until that point, it is very the ABCs of Romcom. These two best friends who are clearly meant to be together with these two high school relationships that they are stuck in. And when they're at the party and they're all reunited, the first thing Simon wants to do is play beer pong with his girlfriend. And it's, to use modern vernacular, it's golden retriever energy. It's that he just wants to play.
Yeah.
And I thought, hang on a minute, because all we'd seen to him up until that point was a shirtless picture where he looks like he has been chiseled. So he's tall, he's hot. What is wrong with this guy? And then he's really excited to play a game with his girlfriend. And it does progress that he doesn't quite listen to her, and I start to see that. And of course, this is all before the event.
You don't have to be so cagey. We can spoil it. It's okay.
Yeah, we can spoil it.
This is because in my notes, I'm still like not aware of what's about to happen. And all my notes were just like, I don't dislike Claire and Simon enough to want them to be dumped.
I really need to check. You liked Claire through that rendition of the national anthem?
There's very few people who have done the national anthem, the US national anthem, I should say, that have made me go, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I just like the Canadian national anthem. I'm just going to put it out there.
The Welsh national anthem is the best one from the British Isles, but that's because my family are Welsh.
It's less about how she sang it and more about, for me, it was when she calls Ben, she doesn't let him go to class because she wants to spend an hour obsessing about the national anthem. And she says, oh, well, everyone's going to be there. Maybe even some industry, like some industry at a high school football game the night before Thanksgiving in rural Ohio.
Yeah.
Shut up, Claire.
I get that you're not meant to like her, and I think they do a better job at making her unlikable than him. Mm-hmm. But that is because Ben's character he doesn't advocate for himself. So the easy answer in having an unlikable partner that we want the audience to want him to dump is to make him a pushover and her very strong-willed. And yeah, she's a bit insufferable, but the thing is that a lot of the film is these two characters scheming on how they're going to break up with these two people who have no idea. And it just felt, I just didn't think they deserved it.
They deserve it in the sense that I just don't think any of them are right for each other. It screams to me of like, you guys got together in high school, but you actually don't have anything in common.
I think it's interesting that we're characterizing this breakup as to whether or not their partners deserved it. I don't think that breakups are about whether it's deserved. If Jamie and Ben are not happy in those relationships, they should get out of those relationships.
Absolutely. If they don't want to be in the relationship, that's totally fine. And they're honest about it. They do it so that they can go and sleep around at college and explore and have life experience. It's just the constant like scheming and the where they're going to do it and the premeditation of it and trying to do it before Thanksgiving and all of this that like...
You say scheming.
Yeah.
I say preparing.
Yeah. And like, again, Jack and Nora, I can see you, like if I was in a relationship and need to break up with somebody, you and I would have this conversation of like, where are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? Who's going to be around? Like what time? All this kind of stuff. And especially for these two characters who I'm assuming this is their first sort of breakup or at least big breakup.
Yeah.
Especially with the type of character that I read Jamie to be, she would be like this. She would be like, I need this to be like precisely planned.
Yeah.
I need this to be sort of meticulous because I don't want to leave any room for error because I had something go wrong when I was a child that was a big open for error. I'm talking occasionally about it, but the scene in which she shows her friend's dad her bee sting and her bee stings.
Good. I'm glad you made that joke.
Thank you. The film didn't have the guts to make that joke.
Had the sense not to.
Or the sense not to, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is why Hollywood hasn't come knocking at my door just yet.
But yeah, everything is pointing towards they're going to break up with their high school sweethearts and they're going to realize that they were the high school sweethearts all along. And so as an audience, you want to be with them and you want to be like, no, these relationships are awful and these relationships are completely holding you back. And all I was thinking of was like, all you're going to do is replace one villain for another and get in another relationship with your high school sweetheart. And then, of course, he is going to Copenhagen. And so they're just going to replace one long-distance relationship with another long-distance relationship. Also, let's point out, this is a story about high school people who are in their first year of college, so they're 18. I am almost double that. And so a lot of my notes seem to have, like, in brackets, or am I old?
I think this is very interesting because, so the only thing I did know about this movie is because Nora watched it before I saw it. And the only thing I had her describe it to me as was that it wasn't a rom-com.
Because it's not.
Because
it is not.
Well, we'll get to my feelings on that later on, because I have feelings. But I was watching this, I was sort of focusing on the fact that I just really like these two characters, and I was having a good time with them. Not even to the point where I was like, oh yeah, they're going to break up and get together, because I never got a romantic vibe from the two of them.
I did. And I can tell you when.
Oh, it's interesting.
When?
The first time that I thought they were planting seeds of like, there's romance here, was when they go to the off-campus party and they start dancing and they list the body parts that they're going to dance with.
That's so funny.
Because they start with hands, I think, but when they go to eyes, they move a little closer. The camera goes into a slightly closer shot, and it's very... There's obviously no meet cute in this because we've already established that they're high school friends. But this moment, for me, this read as like the seeing each other for the first time. You know, in any rom-com where they are already an existing relationship, they have to have the re-meet cute where they see each other again in a new light. And it felt like that was the moment, because I then made a note in my notes of being like, chemistry tracker. We're going to track the moments that like point out that this is the relationship they should be in.
To me, it just felt like platonic intimacy. And these two, I do think, love each other, but I don't know if they're in love with each other. And I mean, well, the film tells me where it ends up. And like, spoiler alert, guys, they don't end up together.
I'm reading notes that are written by past Joshua, who hadn't yet got to that point in the movie. We don't get many narratives where it's actually like, men and women can be friends.
Yes.
And I was really hoping for that because, not to go political, but given today's climate where we have like so much more traditional gender roles being pushed, the idea that men and women can't be friends is becoming more and more prevalent. And so to have a rom-com that certainly for the first 75% of it is like, they're going to end up, they're going to end up, they're going to end up. And then actually it's like, no, men and women can be friends. I was so happy when that happened. And it made me, basically everything that I'd had an issue with in retrospect, I was really happy with. And so when it happened, I did not see it coming. I even made a note when he's running to her. I was like, he's running to her. Oh, of course he's running to her. And then when he gets to her and he's like, I don't feel attracted to you. I was like, finally, okay, good.
Yes.
I mean,
every problem I had up until now has actually been almost vindicated.
One of my notes is this becoming a rom-com in the last 15 minutes? Because that's the part where they, you know, they have their little moment and the separation and like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Can I just say what my absolute least favorite part of this movie is?
Please.
Using When Harry Met Sally as its text to explain the movie to people.
Joshua, have you seen When Harry Met Sally?
Shamefully, no.
I only saw it recently, so I understand it is okay. But this film is a response to When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
The point of When Harry
In
Met
case
Sally.
you couldn't get that from watching this film.
Yeah, I kind of noticed at that point.
It really annoys me when any film, like, there's a bit in the Tom Holland Spider-Man where they're doing a very like obvious visual reference to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he's running past like the backyards and everything. And then it cuts to a family watching that movie while he's doing it. And it really annoys me because I'm just like, yes, I know. You don't have to be blatant with it. If you don't know that movie, seeing it be in the film is not going to explain it to other people.
Yeah, I haven't seen When Harry Met Sally, which I should. I know I should.
It is very good.
It sounds, Joshua, like you and I had a very similar emotional experience watching this film. So I went into it primed for a rom-com because it was on the list of best romantic comedies of all time.
Yep.
So I was expecting that comfortable arc. And I spent the whole film loving their friendship dynamic. But why are you asking me to buy into a rom-com where they have absolutely no romantic and sexual chemistry? When is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? And I was getting more and more tense. And what I got was not a bad friends to lovers rom-com, but an excellent anti-rom-com, which is really about platonic love.
This is why I do believe this is a rom-com, because I do believe there is romance in it, but it's not romance that we expect. But friend romance is a thing.
Yeah.
There is something nice to having a film that has the romantic comedy settings and does have a relationship at its core, but we also spend about 40% of the movie on Palmer's storyline, which I'm not complaining about because it's great, but I'd argue that maybe it deserves its own movie. because I think that discovering the hidden gay life in American suburbia is fascinating and absolutely primed for like a One Crazy Night story, which this movie is, and I love a One Crazy Night movie.
Yeah.
It's a super bad homage.
Yes.
Palmer is off having the best night while the two protagonists are just having the worst night.
This is true. I don't think in Superbad, Fogel's story is as interesting as Seth and Evan's story. In this, I think Palmer's story almost eclipses their story.
Me too. It was one of my favorite bits, and I think a lot of my notes throughout are just like, I just loved Palmer Caleb throughout. My note was like, Palmer is just a delight, and then immediately after it was like, but then Tramell Tillman shows up? This is just incredible.
And then Joel Kim Booster joins him.
Yeah, it was just stunning. I really, really enjoyed that. I even another one of my favorite lines was, "Are you a boot gay or are you a shoe gay?"
Yes.
That's the only way I wish to discuss the taxonomy of homosexuals from here on out.
Palmer's rewriting of Unwritten is one of my favorite parts of the movie, where he's just like, "Future is unwritten because no one wants to live in fucking Ohio."
Well, that moment as well, Palmer singing Unwritten to himself and changing the lyrics was fantastic, because later on when we have Palmer's moment of finding his place, which is when he goes to queer bowling, which is just bowling for queer people, as he says in the film.
Just bowling, but everyone there is gay.
But everyone there is gay, yeah.
A place where you don't have to wear shoes.
Yeah, again, fantastic lines. But then when he does bowler strike and the camera there's a symmetrical shot, which I always think is very, I love a Wes Anderson, so anything that's symmetrical, I'm all for. And then he steps aside and the strike happens and he's found his place, and then Unwritten comes on.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say, that is the point in this movie where I cried.
Oh.
You mentioned symmetrical shots. I was like, that is the perfect in for me to say the thing I have been desperate to say this whole time.
Okay.
It is shot so beautifully.
It's a really nice looking movie.
Right? And my favorite sequence is when they are planning their breakup. It shows them first in the dining hall, and then they're brushing their teeth, and then they're in the library. But those three shot setups are so beautifully symmetrical, and like the colors are perfect. It's like in the dining hall, they've got their trays, they've each got a sandwich and an apple and a cookie and a drink and their phones, and it's like perfect. And the color, like, so her color is red and his color is blue. And they put them next to each other, often in sort of a contrast. She'll be wearing red, he'll be wearing blue, but they'll be behind a car that's the opposite color. It's just so beautiful. And I was like, oh, this just feels so good. And then in the scene where they kiss right at the end, it's almost symmetrical behind them, but not quite. There's like a curtain on one side that throws it off, and they are slightly off center.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is so, it feels so good, because
I'm obsessed with Nora the film nerd. I'm very into this.
But like, it just feels so wrong watching them kiss. It doesn't feel right.
Also, the siren was coming in as well.
Yes.
You had the diegetic siren.
So you talked about the film planting seeds of a romance, and they were planting seeds because the film is intentionally trying to mislead us into believing that this is a friends to lovers rom-com, but it's not. And so they're doing this sort of contrasting, like conflicting storytelling, where they are very strongly telling us that they are supposed to be together and very strongly telling us that they're not.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
As I mentioned, a lot of my close friends growing up, my best friend now is a woman. And it doesn't happen anymore. But when I was younger, if there would be like there would often be a moment in the friendship where you'd sort of have to be like, hang on a minute, do we have to maybe see if there's romance here? Because we're told, also this was like the 90s and early 2000s, there was no other narrative. And so it was great to then see this film happen and have that moment of like, nah, actually, we can just be friends.
Yeah, this harkens back to exactly why I think this is a rom-com, just not what you expect of it. And that's kind of why I love it.
You said something earlier I thought was interesting, Jack, where you said these two people love each other, but they're not in love with each other. And I would contest that. I think they are in love with each other, but I think it's platonic.
Yes.
Be in love with your mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get love from places other than a relationship. Like, that's really important.
No, I agree completely.
That's very healthy. Fuck the male loneliness epidemic. It's not getting you.
Yeah, it's not getting me.
I saw a review for this on Letterboxd where someone says, I wish I could like this movie if it wasn't for the terrible script. And I'm like, actually, no, I think this is a really...
Script is
I
good.
think it's a really strong script. I want to actually just like highlight a few jokes that I really liked in this movie.
Is it just all of Caleb's lines? Because
it is. The opening joke where he is leaving the room while his roommate is having sex and zipping up very slowly, and his line is like, I thought it would be quieter if it was slower, but it just wasn't. Which is great. I liked that this film was kind of unapologetically a gross out comedy at times.
Mm-hmm.
Her getting peed on did make me laugh.
That's a thing that happened.
It took me back to, being 10 or 11 years old watching American Pie and stuff like that.
You're right. It's that American Pie. It's that we are embarrassed for the character moment.
Which I don't have a problem with. I think that I grew up laughing at that stuff and I still laugh at it now. And I hadn't seen, barring like no hard feelings, I hadn't seen something like that for a while. And I was really happy to see it because it made me nostalgic.
That scene is also an excuse for them to be half naked around each other. But
also another reason why I was like, these two aren't into each other. It never felt like sexual to me. It just felt like, that's my bud, and I got to be there for my bud.
Yeah, exactly. Although, again, non-sexual, non-romantic, but being in love with your friends, I really, really loved. So he's got the beer cans or whatever taped to his hands so he can't check his phone. So his roommate's checking his phone.
Yeah.
And there's 100 texts from his girlfriend, and there's texts from his dad. And then the friend reads, SOS, I'm upstairs, I need you. And he goes, who's that from? And when he finds out it's from Jamie, he runs.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, yeah, those are the friends you want.
If you were locked in a room, Nora, and I had beer strapped to my hands, I'd be there in a second.
It's when they're like staring into each other's eyes and he just goes, untape me.
Yeah.
Untape me. Yeah.
The other line I really liked is Palmer's line when Jamie is taking her partner to break up with him and they're walking and he just goes, not the swing set, he'll never swing again.
Yeah. I wonder how many of Caleb's lines were written and how many were him just... Because I made a note when Caleb, is having their moment where they are coming out to the town and they're doing it atop the fire truck's cradle and they're just listing things. I want to know how long that shot really was because I imagine from a filmmaking perspective, they would have just said, just keep going and we'll use what we use in the edit.
Though I will say, Jordan Weiss, who's the co-writer on this movie, is a strong writer. She wrote the TV show Dollface with Kat Dennings, which I think is a very funny show.
Yeah.
And I also just want to bring up, because I'm just looking at what she's got coming up. She is working on the upcoming Clueless TV series for Peacock. And she's got a movie in development called Romantic Comedy, being described as, after a string of bad relationships, a comedy writer swears off romance until meeting a charming musician who makes her question everything she thought she knew about love.
Oh, hot.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
She also got an untitled NFL romantic comedy in development.
This film is based on her relationship with her co-writer and best friend,
Dan Breyer.
Fantastic. Love it.
Dan Breyer also writing on romantic comedy.
Fun. So I also had a list of lines that I just thought were funny. Like my whole note was just the line. I want to give one to Simon, because he doesn't get a lot of moments in this, but him saying, yeah, the people at Harvard really suck at beer pong.
That is a good one.
I really, really enjoyed that. Obviously got to give one to Palmer, which is a group of straight guys with a common goal is genuinely terrifying.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Feel that.
Yeah. I love that moment.
The bit where he goes up to the guy telling him that he thinks it's a bad idea to burn that turkey. And the face that boy gives him is utterly terrifying.
It is.
Brilliant moment.
Going to give one to Ben with, like most people with an undiagnosed personality disorder, Claire is incredible at fucking.
It's good.
Great line.
Yeah.
Something that, again, just in the sort of how this movie is structured and the way it flits between Jamie and Ben to Palmer, I kind of wish I had more of Claire and Simon's, like, great escape.
Yeah, I enjoyed that moment. And I also made a note of that the pair of them bounced back from absinthe far too well.
They would be dead.
No, I'm sorry.
They would be dead.
There is a bizarrely thin line in this movie between being drunk on absinthe and being like tripping balls on like on like the strongest drugs you can get.
That's kind of something that gets missed out of film, I think, just for comedic value. And fine, people know that absinthe used to be hallucinogenic. So
as a former bartender, I pay a lot of attention to drinks in films, and it annoyed me the way he was pouring the absinthe in.
I thought you were going to say that you noticed that the absinthe was in a Saint Germain bottle.
Oh, actually, I didn't notice that. It was just the way he was pouring it in was really chaotic and was definitely way more absinthe than you would need for the cocktail that he was making.
He's also not a bartender.
Yes.
He famously works just outside of Disneyland Paris, which I thought was a really lovely little touch.
Yes, yeah, because people who work in the vicinity of Disney, it is really important to them that you know whether or not they are actually employed by Disney. That is a true to life fact.
Yeah.
Something that kept coming up that I really thought was going to happen, maybe it was a scene that was shot and unfortunately didn't make it into the final cut. The Uber driver.
Yeah.
Ben's mum mentions they had an Uber the other day and the Uber driver is writing a novel about a centaur who lives in a lighthouse and can't get down the stairs. And I was like,
it's
brilliant.
Wonderful.
And then Kiernan's character keeps mentioning that the town only has one Uber driver. And I was really hoping that at some point they would get in the Uber and the Uber driver would be like, so I've got this novel, and we would have that loop closed, but it never happened.
This movie, in a great way, gave me Booksmart vibes, and I kept assuming that the Uber driver was going to show up and it would be Jason Sudeikis just right out of Booksmart. One thing you just mentioned, Ben's mum, who is played by Christine Taylor.
I loved her so much.
She's great.
I like both the parents.
I've liked Christine Taylor for years because I'm a massive fan of the Brady Bunch movies where she plays Marcia. She's also a wonderful actress who's in many great films doing wonderful performances, but for me, she'll always be Marcia Brady.
She also has a funny moment in this where
She has lots of funny moments in this.
That is true. That is true. But it's when they're talking about Princess Diana.
Oh yeah, I'm here for the royal family slander. As a Britain exile, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
It's also such a American Midwest suburban parent thing to talk about.
So much.
Like to just give a very decided opinion about Princess Diana. Just Charles treated her very badly.
That was my note on that bit. On that whole car ride.
The centaur thing, though, I'm a horse person.
Yes, you are.
So
ride horses.
So is a centaur.
Yes. But I have not ever tried to walk a horse up or down multiple stairs. They can step up onto something. Never seen a horse do stairs, so I'm not sure if
so
the
they can
rules are the
step
same.
up onto something, can they step down from it?
Well, yes.
Could they step up to the streets?
Second episode we've recorded where that movie title is referenced.
Not sorry.
Shouldn't be.
If we're really going off on this one, the issue that I think the centaur would have is they are quite long, and I'm assuming in a lighthouse the stairs are both spiral and narrow.
Oh.
So my issue, I don't know if they would have again, you are resident horse expert. How much of a bend can a horse do? Like when a dog chases its tail and they go into a full infinite loop?
Yeah, they can bend quite a lot.
Oh, well then a centaur should be fine getting up the stairs.
The centaur got up there. So the issue is that he can't get back down. So he could bend enough to get up.
He could have been placed up there when he was very small, like a child.
Oh, little centaur foal.
I don't think a centaur would be the best person to operate a lighthouse. If I was the owner of that lighthouse, I don't know if I'd hire the centaur. But I would watch a movie in which Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are centaurs who run a lighthouse.
I would watch where they're both the pantomime horse.
Yes.
Running a lighthouse.
It hasn't come up on this podcast and probably won't ever because Robert Pattinson does not do rom-coms. Yet.
Didn't he do the one where he dies in 9/11? Wasn't that a rom-com?
It was an indie romantic drama. It fulfills the same sort of need as rom-coms do in some ways, but is not actually a comedy.
Just before you move on from The Lighthouse, Naomi Radatz, who did makeup for The Lighthouse, did makeup for First Impressions.
Oh,
Ooh.
I love that. Did you have any fun stories?
No, we chatted about like animals and cats and stuff.
That was a real wasted opportunity because you should have known you were going to talk to me.
Yeah, I should have known.
My uncle is now Robert Eggers' sort of go-to art director, but not for the Lighthouse. Everything post-Lighthouse. And I'm like,
So
that's
what,
the
like
coolest one to work on.
the Northman?
The Northman,
Nosferatu?
and upcoming Wolfman
Oh, nice.
movie.
Oh, intriguing.
Mm.
Can I give my hill that I want to die on? Palmer has a line about visiting Ben in Copenhagen. It's the fact that he was going to get a train. This is where I become fully irked. Because do you know how long a train from Paris to Copenhagen would take?
I feel like you know.
I do. It's roughly a 14 to 16-hour journey. It would cost you $254.81, but this is the super saver.
I tell this story in my stand-up about like my trip to France when I was 18 because it just sounded romantic and filmic in my head. It's the same reason he lives in Paris. It sounds great in his head.
And I get it. It's just how flippant he is about, oh, just get a train. Like they're New Jersey and New York, and they are so far apart. I just crave a little more like geographical awareness and, you know, things can be educational.
You know what annoyed me about it? And this is a really pedantic, like very personal to me thing. This is my train.
Okay, good, because then I'm not alone in being really pedantic about something that doesn't matter at all.
Some of us really like the opening fanfare logo, so don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
What visa is he on?
Oh, yes. This is a great example. And I should have picked up on this as well.
Mm-hmm. So you and I, as immigrants in our respective countries,
You do get the job done.
I suspect that that is a sort of film error of they just are not aware of how difficult it is to just casually move to Paris.
Unless you have family members who are European.
I mean, yeah, there are lots of ways you could be doing it. It just annoyed me because it's not the kind of thing people think of unless they know, and we know.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk about the kiss.
Okay.
Because I watched an interview with the two of them, and apparently they were shooting it at the end of a long night. The sun was about to come up, so they were really short for time. They were a bit more tentative initially, and the direction they kept getting was like, you got to make out, more tongue. And we see the result of that because the take that ended up in the film is like, oh, tongue. And apparently in the premiere, the audience gasped when they saw the tongue.
I didn't notice the tongue.
What?
Because all I was doing at this point was like, they literally just broken up with their boyfriend and girlfriend, and then they had an immediate kiss. And my note was literally, an immediate kiss without resolving Copenhagen? That was my note.
Why don't we do some would do, wouldn't do, have done?
Yeah, I'm here for this.
Joshua, do you want to start us off?
My one that I would do is I love a silly nude. And in this film, Ben does a Danny Zuko nude for Claire when she's playing Sandy in Greece.
He does a full video.
It's a full video. I would absolutely, I maybe wouldn't do a Danny Zuko because I've only ever played Kaneki.
I have a silly one. I would bring drama to the petite soirée.
We all would.
I
We
would.
all would bring, or we'd enjoy drama at the petite soirée.
So you know what? This film actually had something that I would do and then inspired me to do.
Oh?
There's a moment where Ben goes out on his skateboard, and I was like, that looks fun. So I went and grabbed my skateboard. and I went for a ride, and about 10 minutes in, I just fell off and went out. And I was like, I'm going home.
That is my one regret in life,
The only one.
that I gave up skateboarding as a kid.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I board only just as a mode of travel. I do not use any form of ramps or sick jumps.
The way you said sick jumps.
Yeah, that's why I don't do sick jumps.
Because I was a teen during the time of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
And 3 and 4.
It was prime time to be a skateboarding fan. I was all over it. But alas, it's okay to have regrets.
Nora, what would you do?
I would make a breakup pact with a friend.
Yeah.
I don't get why it's a bad thing.
I don't
as
think
long
it's a
as
bad thing.
But it's treated that way in the film. And as long as they both actually want to end their relationships, they're not pressuring each other into ending them.
Yeah.
I don't see why it's a bad thing, because we need support systems in place for big life changes like, breakups of long-term relationships. So yeah, I would.
We can agree with that.
Let's do it.
I don't want to right now.
Joshua, what wouldn't you do?
I wouldn't do is I wouldn't share a room in college.
It sucks.
Or just in general. To share a room? That's weird. I think it's weird. And I can't understand it. He's trying to do his bag up while the guy is in bed with a woman. And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that.
I'm with you.
Did you ever do it, Nora?
I did, yeah.
It sounds like a special level of hell. And I would hate it now, but I think I would have hated it even more at 18.
We had private dorms at my university.
Yeah, that's something I would never do. I would never share a room with a stranger.
My wouldn't do is that I would not tell my child that I'm breaking up with their mother on their birthday weekend.
Yeah, that's fair.
This happens in the flashback of the movie. Jamie's childhood friend Megan, who Jamie shows her father, the bestie, at Megan's birthday party. And then after that, Megan's parents tell Megan that they're splitting up. And Jamie gets tarnished as a homewrecker.
Which is Jamie's whole backstory as to why she's hiding in this relationship with Simon instead of putting herself out there and making new friends, particularly girlfriends.
When really, I now want to know what Megan's lifestyle is like.
Sophie Zucker, who plays Megan, every moment she was on screen, I just couldn't stand her. And obviously you're not meant to. And that is tantamount to Sophie being phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that was a brilliant performance.
I just want to bring up my friend Rob Patrick's review for this film on Letterboxd, where he's very positive and then just ends it with, my friend Sophie is in this, so I assume it is Sophie Zucker.
That's
cool.
fun.
Yeah, she was fantastic in it. And I hated every moment she was on screen.
I thought she was really, fun, hateable.
Yeah.
Nora, what would you not do?
I would not use a dead kid's ID in a small town.
I just want to say, I do think that plot line of using the dead kid's ID and then getting called out by it by the pallbearer.
That was good.
Such a good joke.
So dark.
It's so dark.
It is very dark.
One thing I found very distracting is that the name on the fake ID is really similar to the name of one of the stars of one of the Final Destination movies, which I just recently worked on a spot for these, so I'm quite familiar with the cast. And I just was like, we're just calling out this guy because he's dead in the Final Destination universe, which is also produced by New Line Cinema.
Oh, the Final Destination cinematic universe.
I like it.
Joshua, what have you done?
I haven't peed on anyone.
But
strong opener, right? But I have been found in a state of undress in a bathroom. And I'm using this to also introduce a character that we haven't spoken about called Luther. But Luther is found in a bathroom in a state of undress. I mean, his knob is out. And when he starts to throw up, Kiernan's character tries to roll him over. And during these hijinks, he pees on her.
Oh.
And I haven't done that. But there was a New Year's Eve party in, I want to say, 2013, 2014. And I just went too hard, too quickly. And I knew that I would be fine. But what I had to do was not throw up on any of my clothes. So I had to take my clothes off, which is why they kept finding me. In various, every time someone came and checked on me, I would be one more item of clothing less. Until eventually I had vomited and rested and undressed enough that I could have a shower. And I climbed in the shower, freshened myself up, brushed my teeth, put my clothes back on, which hadn't been vomited on because drunk me was smart. And then I returned to the party cinematically just in time for the New Year's Eve countdown.
Nice.
So everyone is in a circle going 10, 9, and then I edge my way in thinking like I'm a bit of a hero, returning from war kind of thing. And everyone was like, ah! Even people were like, we didn't think we'd see you again. I was like, I've returned. Sometimes all you need is a sick and a sleep.
I spent one New Year's Eve with you, and that was very much not my experience that year.
That's because you met me after I turned 25.
We just did like a show tune sing-along, and you were playing the piano.
Yeah.
That was a good night.
I have, not while someone's having sex, but I have sneakily tried to be quiet whilst a friend of mine is in romantic throes. And it's hard to be quiet when you're a loud 6'2" man with big, like, stompy feet.
Fair.
Nora, what have you done?
I have repeatedly had close friends that everyone was convinced I was dating because...
No way! Have you?
What?
Since when?
Shut up. Because I am a huge proponent, as I've said before, of falling in love with your friends. I am desperately in love with my friends, and people do not get that.
People just can't handle it. People just can't handle friends being in love with each other.
It's true.
Okay, what's next?
Oh, can we do song? Yeah.
Joshua, did you have a song you wanted to add to our playlist?
I missed that. I'll send it you after.
Nora, do you have one?
I want to hear yours first.
Okay. I was watching the movie and I was like, oh, wait, is this, It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To? And I was like, no, it's not. Well, it is, but it's in a different language. And the song is called Liva Livet. It's Swedish. I looked up the translation for how it goes. And live life now, I will live life. Yes, live life. Yes, live life. They should see who they've been having fun with. That's not how it sounds in the original Swedish. This is playing whilst I believe Jamie's trying to move Lufa. It's so upbeat. I have not stopped listening to this version of it. It is by Lily Babs.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Lily
yeah.
Babs.
You know Lily Babs.
Yeah, we all know Lily Babs.
I was debating between the song that plays over the opening credits, I Want to Dance With You, because I love that sequence, like all the quick and dirty exposition. And I thought it was a great song and it sort of gave us like, the vibe. But also the song that's playing at the dance marathon at the end, when Jamie's joined the sorority, she's doing the charity dance marathon.
I had a problem with the dance marathon.
Oh.
We are introduced to the dance marathon in hour 17 and none of them are drenched in sweat.
What a good
That is
catch.
a good point.
Obviously, they still have to be, like, attractive because they're in a movie, but, like, you put me in a dance marathon, 17 minutes in, I'm transparent.
Oh, yeah, same.
I'm slippery.
Slick.
We're having a good time. I'm going for 17 hours, don't get me wrong, but, like, I could have dried out, I suppose.
Maybe they're taking it in shifts.
Depends on how much water I've drank and if I've dehydrated and I've reabsorbed the sweat for hydration.
I think in the dance marathon scene, I was just like really charmed that they all had their little buns. And I was like, they've become friends.
Yeah.
The three of them.
It was such a sweet
I
scene.
was like, give me sweat.
And also Ben coming back in a day early from Copenhagen to surprise her and them doing their little like, oh, it's starting in the hands, like their little dance thing, that full circle of like their friendship is stronger than ever after this little bump.
That was great.
So I think I will go with that song. It's a Carly Rae Jepsen song called Cut to the Feeling.
I do also just want to give a shout out to Unwritten.
I mean, I could use that as my song. The one that was used when Palmer bowls his strike.
The remix.
That was one of my favourite moments in the film.
Should it not be called Unwritten, Rewritten?
And also, just for a little bit of fun, when I hear the lyric, release your inhibitions, I always think she says inhibitions, like the dog Bichon Frise.
I love that song. You'll hear me talk about it more. But the Romcom Bredal, let's jump right in. This is the way we rate romcoms on this show, by taking leads in chemistry, supporting characters, and story, and rating them out of 5, as well as a 0 to 100 scale rating of is it more rom or is it more com? If it's 0, it's mostly romantic. If it's 100, it's mostly comedic. And if it's 50, it's the perfect amount of rom and com. Joshua, how do you feel on leads and chemistry?
I gave them a 4.
Interesting.
I thought they had a lot of chemistry. I really enjoyed them as friends, which is what you're meant to do. I couldn't give them a 5 because of giving the supporting cast 5. I needed them to have everything.
I landed on a 4.5 out of 5.
I said 5. I think their chemistry is incredible.
Supporting characters.
Your scale does not work for them. Those supporting characters, it's more than 5, but then 6 and 7 feels too low. The supporting characters were phenomenal. One of my favourite moments was the moment where Palmer realises that he's not the only gay person in that town. And that's told by seeing the rainbow phone case, the Pete Buttigieg for President 2020 sticker.
That made me laugh so
Yes.
hard. I love that moment. That's one of my favorite moments in the movie. I'm at a 5 as well. There's not a weak link there. I think that supporting cast is doing so much wonderful lifting in this movie and making it feel so perfect.
Yeah, I'm a 5 too.
Story.
This story that's about the love of friendships masquerading or being coded like a rom-com, I think is the best way of putting it, was just perfect for me. 5.
I gave it a 3.5. There are just so many stories in here that I kind of want more from. As I say, I could use a full movie of Palmer's story. I would have liked to see more of Simon and Claire, their little side adventure. This one reminded me of something like Can't Hardly Wait, which is just this great, another sort of teen party, one crazy night kind of thing. I loved Jamie and Ben's story, but it's a little too scattered for me to really give it anything more than a 3.5.
I'm somewhere between you two. I gave it a 4.
And where do we go on the rom-com balance?
I gave it a 75.
Me and Joshua are lined up. I said 75.
I said 90.
While it's trying to be a rom-com, it was more com than rom.
It's a breakup comedy, and it's a friendship comedy. The romance isn't strong. That's not a problem with the movie. It's nothing against the movie. I think it's an interesting alternate take on a rom-com. Yeah, 75.
I did not at any point feel like I was watching a rom-com. Like, I loved this film. I had the best time watching this film. I was not watching a rom-com.
I was fully duped then. I am an easy... I thought I was watching a rom-com, and I was so worried I was watching a rom-com.
Yeah, I just enjoyed their journey, and I never felt like it was a rom-com, but I thought it was a romp-com.
A lot of the tropes of the rom-coms is it's friends to lovers, and it's that whole thing of like, I married my best friend, and it's like, why not just marry someone you really, really like and love, and have a best friend as well?
100%. Joshua, thank you for joining us on this rom-com discussion.
Thank you for having me on this rom-com.
It has been a pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
We've plugged it, but I guess I was almost going to try and bring it back when we were talking about how it's like this film, Sweethearts, is like coded as a rom-com until it's not, and be like another short film that's soon to be released called First Impressions, which is coded as a rom-com until it's not. But it's not out yet, so you just have to follow me and wait.
Yes, so listeners who want to keep up on the journey of First Impressions can follow Joshua Martin Williams wherever you get your social media.
Except X.
Yeah.
But you can cut that out.
That's staying in.
Joshua, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
It was fun. This has been WinRomMetCom. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at WinRomMetCom. There are links there to the Vanity Fair article that we're referencing, to our Letterboxd, and any other fun things that we find and want to share. You can always DM us, or you can send us an email at mail@winrommet.com. We would love to hear your thoughts on the films, what rom-coms you think should have made the list, or anything else that you would like to hear about. If you've had a nice time today, please consider leaving us a review or following us on whatever your preferred podcasting platform is. Thank you all for listening, and remember, we don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. See you next time.